Most people think a heart attack is a sudden, crushing pain in the chest. Grab your chest, fall to the floor. That's the movie version. But the reality is far more subtle and far more dangerous. Right now, your body may be sending you quiet distress signals that you're dismissing as minor fatigue, bad sleep, or indigestion. And if you keep ignoring these 8 specific red flags, you might be missing your only real window to intervene before it's too late. Stay with me for the next 20 minutes, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, starting with 2 places almost nobody checks. Stop what you're doing for a second. Look at your fingernails. Now look at your ankles. These 2 areas hold quiet clues about your cardiovascular health that most people, and even some doctors, won't flag until there's already a major problem. In this video, we're breaking down 8 overlooked symptoms that suggest your heart is struggling to keep up. One of them happens while you're sleeping, and you may not even remember it in the morning. This isn't about scaring you. It's about giving you the specific, physical checklist your doctor should be walking you through. The one most people never get. The expert inside urgent warning. Heart disease remains the leading cause of death worldwide, and one of the biggest reasons is simple. We've stopped listening to our body's internal warning system. The physical changes we're about to cover aren't guaranteed signs of an emergency, but taken together, a cluster of them is exactly the kind of pattern doctors look for when they suspect the heart is under strain. And increasingly, wearable devices are picking up on some of these patterns, like irregular heart rhythms, before a person ever feels a symptom. We're going to go through the science behind each of these 8 signs, one at a time, so you can walk away today knowing the difference between probably nothing and get this checked. Quick but important note, this video is for education, not diagnosis. If anything in here sounds like you, the right next step is a conversation with a doctor, not self-treatment. Okay, let's get into it. Why we mistake heart symptoms for just aging. Before we go sign by sign, here's the pattern that trips almost everyone up. Heart symptoms rarely look like the ones we've been trained to expect. We're taught to watch for the elephant on the chest, sudden, crushing chest pain. But a huge number of cardiac warning signs are quiet, easy to explain away, and easy to blame on getting older, being stressed, or just needing more sleep. 2 of the most commonly dismissed symptoms are jaw pain and persistent indigestion. Jaw, neck, or upper back discomfort can be a form of what's called referred pain. The heart and the jaw share overlapping nerve pathways, so when the heart is under strain, the brain sometimes misreads that signal and projects it somewhere else entirely. The jaw, the left arm, even the back. It doesn't feel like a heart symptom at all. It feels like you slept on your neck wrong. Persistent indigestion works the same way. A sensation of burning, pressure, or fullness in the chest or upper stomach can come from the digestive system, or it can be the heart. Because both can feel almost identical, it's one of the most commonly dismissed early warning signs, especially in women, who are statistically more likely to experience these atypical symptoms instead of classic chest pain. The takeaway here isn't panic every time you have heartburn. It's this. If discomfort in your jaw, neck, back, or upper stomach shows up with exertion, keeps recurring, or comes with other signs on this list, it deserves a second look, not a shrug. The 8 signs. Sign number 1, unusual, unexplained fatigue. Everyone gets tired, but cardiac fatigue has a distinct pattern. It's disproportionate to what you're doing, and it doesn't improve with rest the way normal tiredness does. This happens because when the heart can't pump efficiently, your muscles and organs receive less oxygen-rich blood. Your body starts running on a smaller margin, so ordinary tasks, climbing a flight of stairs, carrying groceries, even getting dressed, suddenly feel like far more effort than they should. The red flag isn't being tired after a bad night's sleep. It's a new, persistent exhaustion that shows up out of nowhere and sticks around for days or weeks. Sign number 2, jaw, neck, or upper back pain. We touched on this a moment ago, but it's worth its own marker on the list because it's so frequently missed. This is referred pain, discomfort that originates in the heart but is felt somewhere else because of shared nerve pathways. What makes it worth paying attention to? It often appears or worsens with physical exertion and eases with rest. That pattern, pain tied to activity, is one of the clearest signals that something more than a stiff neck may be going on. Sign number 3. Persistent indigestion, nausea, or chest pressure. B-roll. Person holding stomach, antacid bottle. We flagged this one too. But here's the deeper detail. Cardiac-related indigestion tends to be different from a normal upset stomach in a few ways. It often isn't tied to what you just ate. It doesn't fully resolve with antacids, and it may come bundled with sweating, lightheadedness, or shortness of breath. If your indigestion keeps returning without a clear food trigger, that combination is the signal to take more seriously. Sign number 4. Shortness of breath during routine activity. This is one of the more well-known signs, but people still underestimate how early it can appear. When the heart's pumping ability declines, fluid can begin to back up into the lungs, making it harder to breathe, especially during activity that never used to bother you. The marker to watch for: breathlessness that happens with mild exertion, walking to the mailbox, climbing one flight of stairs when it never used to. Some people also notice they need extra pillows to breathe comfortably at night, because lying flat makes the fluid build up worse. Sign number 5. Swelling in the ankles, feet, or legs. Here's the first of the 2 check right now areas from the hook. When the heart isn't pumping efficiently, blood can back up in the veins, pushing fluid out into surrounding tissue, most noticeably in the lowest parts of the body, thanks to gravity. The ankles, feet, and lower legs. A simple way people check this at home: press a finger into the skin above the ankle for a few seconds. If it leaves a visible indent that takes a while to bounce back, that's called pitting edema, and it's a classic sign of fluid retention that can be linked to heart strain, particularly if it's new, and especially if it's paired with the fatigue or breathlessness we already covered. Sign number 6. Changes in the nail beds. This is the second check right now area, and it's the one almost nobody thinks to look at. Your nail beds rely on a steady supply of oxygen-rich blood, so they can act as a small window into your circulation. 2 changes are worth knowing. A bluish or purplish tint to the nail bed can indicate the blood isn't carrying enough oxygen, sometimes linked to heart or lung function. And nail clubbing, where the nails become unusually curved and the fingertips look rounded or swollen, has long been associated with chronic low oxygen levels tied to certain heart and lung conditions. Neither of these changes is a diagnosis on its own. Nail color can shift for lots of reasons, including simply being cold. But a persistent change, especially alongside other signs on this list, is worth mentioning to a doctor. Sign number 7. Disrupted sleep and nighttime gasping. This is the one that happens while you're asleep, and it's a two-way relationship. Poor sleep quality, particularly sleep apnea, where breathing repeatedly stops and starts throughout the night, puts extra strain on the cardiovascular system over time. That repeated drop in oxygen and the stress response it triggers can contribute to elevated blood pressure and irregular heart rhythms. At the same time, an already strained heart can worsen sleep quality, creating a cycle that reinforces itself. The signs to watch for: loud, chronic snoring, waking up gasping or choking, or feeling exhausted no matter how many hours you slept. If a partner has ever told you that you stop breathing in your sleep, that's not something to laugh off. It's worth a conversation with a doctor about a sleep evaluation. Sign number 8. Heart palpitations and irregular rhythms. The final sign is the one modern technology is getting increasingly good at catching early: a racing, fluttering, or irregular heartbeat, known as palpitations. Occasional palpitations from caffeine, stress, or dehydration are common and usually harmless. What's different here is a pattern. Episodes that happen repeatedly, last more than a few seconds, or come with dizziness, chest discomfort, or shortness of breath. This is also where wearable technology has changed the game. Many modern smartwatches and fitness trackers now include on-device heart rhythm sensors capable of flagging irregular patterns, including signs consistent with atrial fibrillation, sometimes before a person notices any symptoms at all. That's not a replacement for medical care, but it's an early warning layer that simply didn't exist for most people a decade ago. If your device ever flags an irregular rhythm, don't dismiss it as a glitch. Treat it as a prompt to get checked. Let's run through all 8 one more time. Unusual, unexplained fatigue, jaw, neck, or upper back pain, persistent indigestion, or chest pressure, shortness of breath during routine activity, swelling in the ankles, feet, or legs, changes in the nail beds, disrupted sleep, and nighttime gasping, heart palpitations, or irregular rhythms. No single one of these guarantees a heart problem, but if you're noticing two or more together, especially fatigue, breathlessness, and swelling as a combo, that's the pattern worth taking to a doctor. What to actually do about it? So what's the actual next step if some of these sound familiar? First, don't try to self-diagnose from a video, including this one. What we've covered here is a checklist of worth investigating, not a diagnosis. Second, if you notice a cluster of these signs, not just one in isolation, book an appointment and describe the pattern clearly. Doctors respond well to specifics. "I've had swollen ankles and unusual fatigue for the past 2 weeks" is far more useful than "I've been feeling off." Third, if you experience sudden, severe chest pain, pain radiating down the arm, sudden severe shortness of breath, fainting, or a sudden irregular heartbeat with dizziness or chest discomfort, that's not a wait-and-see situation. That warrants emergency medical attention right away. And finally, this one matters. If you're already living with risk factors like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, a family history of heart disease, or you smoke, these 8 signs deserve even closer attention because your baseline risk is already higher. Here's the honest truth. Your heart doesn't usually announce trouble with a dramatic movie moment. It whispers first, through fatigue that doesn't add up, a jaw ache you can't explain, ankles that stay swollen, nails that look a little different, sleep that leaves you exhausted, and a heartbeat that occasionally feels off. The goal of this video isn't to make you anxious about every twinge. It's to help you tell the difference between noise and signal, so that if your body is genuinely asking for help, you actually hear it. If this video helped you spot something worth mentioning to a doctor, that's exactly what it was made for. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. A parent, a partner, a friend who brushes off how tired they've been. Subscribe for more evidence-based health breakdowns. Drop a comment with any symptom you'd like us to cover next. And as always, listen to your body. It's telling you more than you think.